morning. Actually, good afternoon. I don't even know what time it is. I had work today, but we're here, and let's talk all about it today. Training camp day 4 for the players. It was the fourth practice, and the media was there. Open practice, not one of them days today. They get a rest day tomorrow, thankfully. And the pads go on Monday, with open practice on Monday. Returning the pads get slapped back on for the 49ers. So that's great news because that means they're ramping things up. But also, the dog days of summer camp means a little bit of injuries. They're going to get some camp bodies here and there. We're going to talk all about that today. So, first and foremost, make sure you guys hit the like button. Appreciate all the support, all that good stuff. What's up, everybody? It is a Saturday, and guess what? The Niners back in action, training camp. We are here. We are ready to go. I'm excited, man. It's just that time of the season where it's starting to get real again, and it's fun time. So this morning, the 49ers signed a former Falcons wide receiver. He played at Arizona State. He was a free agent. Frank Darby, 1 year deal. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, it's a world, moving sign. It's not like he's going to be on the roster forever. Again, it's probably a couple weeks training camp type deal, camp body, and they had to make a correlating roster maneuver, and they waived, sorry, cornerback Keemon Hall. So you get a guy, you have to cut a guy. That's the way it works. So they brought in Frank Darby, and they got rid of Keemon Hall. Darby, he used to be at Arizona State. He was a former teammate of Brandon Ayuk. So they're getting all his teammates. They got Brandon Ayuk. They got Ricky Pearsall. They got Frank Darby. Kyle Shanahan says, we got to get all his buddies so he stays here. But no, that's just a little joke. So they got a cam body. I mean, right now they got like 9 receivers on this roster. But you got to remember, Brandon Ayuk, he's holding in Pearsall. He's got the hamstring injury. And a new injury update for the wide receivers today. Jacob Cowing, he missed practice today. Apparently, he has a hamstring issue. These hamstring issues are popping up on these younger guys. I feel like you got to realize they're going out there, they're training, they're putting in hard effort, and now they're feeling it. And sometimes you're going to have a hamstring issue. You're conditioned, but maybe not as conditioned as you thought you were. Maybe you got to stretch more. Maybe they were doing certain drills that caused them to pull a hamstring. But whatever the case is, Jacob Cowing is he missed training camp today, practice. Who knows if he'll be there next week, but it's something to keep an eye on. Jacob Cowing, hamstring issue. So, yeah, they needed a wide receiver, so they bring in Frank Darby. Again, he's a veteran, played for the Falcons. It's not like he did too much other than a lot of dancing from the highlights I saw. But, hey, they got a camp body. You need that. And good news for Ricky Pearsall, who's been dealing with the hamstring injury. As we know, he has been running on the side field. He's been rehabbing. He's been recovering. His running has increased in speed and, changing directions. According to Kyle Shanahan, there's a good chance that he returns on Monday for his debut in training camp, which is when the pads come on. So good stuff for Ricky Pearsall. Now, he said it's not guaranteed, but there is a very good chance that Ricky Pearsall makes his training camp debut on Monday. And I can't wait for that. So, are they training too hard? I mean, everybody wants to train harder, right? In the NFL versus the college ranks, you're training 10 times harder. I mean, even if you train hard in college, you're training even harder in the NFL. And, a lot of people want to put this on the trainers and whatever. Persol was training off field or off site because in the off season before training camp, all these players are doing their own thing, right? Sometimes they go to the facility, they work out, but a lot of them are doing their own thing with their own trainers and this and that. We've seen all the posts on the IG, you know, Persol, Cowing, they were working together. So maybe they're working too hard. They're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to become, stars on this team and carve a role for themselves. So yeah, maybe they overtrain. But also, I was talking to Rohan. We all know Rohan, right? Works for Niners Nation. One thing he mentioned to me, this was very interesting. He says, well, it's not really interesting, but it's something to take into consideration. He goes to Wisconsin, right, for school, but he also writes for SB Nation, not only for Niners Nation, but for Wisconsin, the college football team. So he's like a media report, a team reporter for the Wisconsin Badgers football team. Pretty cool. So he says every year when I get to training camp, I watch the Niners. I do all my stuff. I write my reports. I watch the training camp practices with you. And then the next week after he's done with training camp with the Niners, he goes and then he's a team reporter. He's on the sidelines. He's watching Wisconsin Badger training camp and practice summer camp and the practices and everything. And it's funny. He's like the intensity from the NFL to college is night and day. He's like you can just see how much more difficult and more challenging, and how harder they work in the NFL compared to the NFL compared to the college ranks. So yeah, that's definitely a true statement there. That in the NFL you're working out harder, faster, because you got to be bigger, faster, stronger. So your intensity is insane. So rookies, they tend to hit that wall, right? That rookie wall. They tend to have some ailments. They tend to get injuries and stuff like that. So, Persal dealing with the hamstring, Cowing, he's got the hamstring himself. So we'll see. Isaac Garendo, he has a hamstring injury too. So three of the rookies, 49ers drafted on offense, Garendo, Cowing, and Pearsall, they all have hamstring injuries. So there you go. Another big injury though today that we do got to get to. This is probably the biggest injury of the day, and it's not a good one in my opinion because we're talking about offensive line. Spencer Burford, he broke his hand. He broke his hand. Now Kyle Shanahan says he'll probably miss a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks. He's they're starting right guard right now as it stands. We'll see how training camp goes. They're deciding if he's going to have surgery or not on his hand. Whether they have it or not, could determine how fast he comes back, right? Determine how bad the fracture is, et cetera, et cetera. This sucks, though, because the 49ers are kind of, their offensive line situation is a little murky right now. Dominic Pooney, this is good for him because he'll probably come in and get a lot of reps and get a lot of, development at guard. Now that, Burford's gone, he was been taking most of the starting reps. We all know Feliciano's there, but him and Burford kind of split the reps. Are you going to be able to give Feliciano a full workload now? You got to give him more reps here and there. Is he going to be able to hold up? He's been in the league for 10 years. So I think they like to have Feliciano kind of be that Swiss Army knife guy that rotates. But yeah, Spencer Burford, third year in the league, broke his hand. Unfortunate. He'll be back eventually, within a month's time, but it isn't something you want to hear for any player, especially offensive lineman. You got to dig your hand in the dirt, get down in the mud. So yeah, tough. Opens the door for Dominic Pooney, the rookie. We'll see what he's made out of. So definitely tough to deal with. And a good injury news though, Kyle Shanahan. He said that Taleno Hunga is expected to come off the PUP list in the next week or two. That is big news. That is big news. Taleno Hunga, former All-Pro. We all love Taleno Hunga. He could be back in 2 weeks or maybe a week. We'll see. They're hoping to get him back for open joint practices when they have him with the Saints when they're out in Irvine in about 2 weeks. So that's the goal, is to get Taleno Hunga healthy and ready for week 2, or in 2 weeks for the joint practices with the Saints. I love that. I like that. That's huge. That is massive because we know Mustafa's been doing good. We know Jair Brown's locked in. Now you got Taleno Hunga. We need it. We need it. We need all the depth we can get. And we get him back, get his feet under him, get his legs strong, so that when the season starts, you got Hunga, Malik Mustafa, and Jair Brown. I love it. I love to hear that. That Hufunga's getting close to being cleared, man. And he's getting close to being cleared. This is the biggest positive update on Talanoa Hufunga since he had the injury. So this is awesome. I can't wait to see Hufunga. I can't wait to see him repping that red and gold again. I love Talanoa Hufunga, man. That guy's a dog. He's a beast. Instincts are great. He's a fun guy. He's kind of like a mini captain out there. You could tell eventually he'll be a leader, a captain on this team one day. But good to hear, man. I love Talanoa Hufunga. Unfortunate last year that he tore the ACL. This year, though, I could tell he's going to have that good mindset, ready, and just to, kick some ass out there. So good update for Hufunga, who could be back in a week or two. So my man Leon Sandcastle says Huff, Brown, Mustafa, going to be a nasty trio. It's going to be a nasty trio. You're absolutely right, see it, Leon. Leticia says, yes, let's go. Debtopia says, big Huff. Looks like the crowd is going wild for Talanoa Hufunga. We love Big T. Tease up, right? Tease up, tease up, tease up. I love Talanoa, man. So good news. So those are the major updates. Again, let's recap. Burford, broken hand. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. They're determining if he's going to have surgery or not. Jacob Cowing, missed practice. He has a hamstring issue. Ricky Pearsall could be back Monday. We'll see it. We'll see how it goes. and they signed Frank Darby because of the wide receiver situation, and they cut Keemon Hall. Here you go. Now, some other interesting news today that Kyle Shanahan brought to light. He brought it to the light. We're talking about Brandon Ayuk, right? We want to know what is going on with BA. What's going on with Brandon Ayuk? According to Kyle Shanahan, Brandon Ayuk is participating in all team-related activities, including the meetings, except practice. He's doing everything except practicing, and which makes sense. He doesn't want to get hurt as he's holding in, as they continue to work towards a deal. Let's make a deal, BA. That's what's going on with BA. They're trying to make a deal, trying to make a contract happen. They're trying to get it taken care of. And even though he's not practicing, he's at the meetings. He's doing everything they're asking him for. So that's good news. They're progressing well. I think that's a good sign for BA. I think the time is getting closer. I think the clock is ticking. You can tell when he's out there, he's hungry. He wants to play. He is hyped up to get back on the field. You can just sense it. Like he wants to be out there with his boys. He wants to go play with the dogs, man. So hopefully BA gets that contract extension soon. No update on Trent Williams, however. So Trent Williams, we don't know. We don't know what the status is, but we do know that Brandon Ayuk is attending the meeting, so that's great news. Now, some interesting news that we have to talk about. The 49ers worked out quarterback Josh Love, not Jordan Love, who signed a massive contract, making him the biggest or highest paid quarterback in the NFL history. Jordan Love, that's Jordan Love. 49ers worked out Josh Love, played on the Rams, San Jose State, pride of San Jose State, should I say. They worked them out Friday, according to Dave Lombardi. Now, why do we care? Why do we care? Backup situation is a little murky. I know Josh Dobbs apparently did good today. I wasn't there. I can't tell you if he did or not. According to the reports, Josh Dobbs had a pretty good day, but the backup quarterback situation is still up in the air. Brendan Allen, Josh Dobbs, and also depth in case something happens to somebody injury wise. You know, they got to have some insurance down the line. So, yeah, they're looking at this guy, Josh Love. Keep an eye on him. They'll probably stash him. They'll say, hey, buddy, we'll call you back in 4 to 6 weeks if we need you. We want to work you out. See what you got. See what you got. Maybe Josh Love can be like Jordan Love. Probably not. But we'll keep you on the on the books here. So we'll let you know if we need you, buddy. Okay, thanks. Have a great day. So that's kind of what's going on with Josh Love, not to be confused with Jordan Love. I worked them out, see how he's doing. In case they have injuries or they need some insurance down the line, they can bring him in. So, yeah, I like to hear. This is exactly what I thought, Leon. It's a nice little workout to give Dobbs a kick in the butt. Him and Brandon Allen, give him a little, a little push. Say, hey, look, if you guys don't step it up, we're gonna go sign Josh Love. Figure it out, guys. That's it. Bottom line. But it is nice to see that Josh Dobbs did good today, according to reports. Again, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you with my eyes. I just go with what they tell me. But I'm pretty sure the reporters are being honest. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so those are the big updates. Again, no update on Trent Williams today. And Brandon Ayuk, though, attending those meetings. So it's good. So that's pretty much all the big updates today. I don't know. Yesterday, Kyle Shanahan, or not yesterday, Deebo Samuel, sorry. Yesterday, Deebo Samuel, I don't know if you heard this. He kind of said that he would like to return kicks. What do you guys think about that? He says, the way that the new kickoff rule is going, the way that kind of the NFL is using these playmakers now, probably it's going to get to more of a new position where you're actually going to have playmakers returning kicks. That's what Debo's kind of intuition on this new change in the kick return game is. And he says, they asked him, they said, would you like to be a kick returner? He goes, oh, for sure. Like, so I could see Deebo being a lethal kick returner. And I don't know, what do you guys think? I wanted to bring this topic up today to hear what you guys thought about Deebo Samuel possibly being return man. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's risky? Do you think he should do it? Would you like him to do it? You think he could cook it up if he did it? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going to play a video. I don't have the video. Absolutely don't have the video here. Never mind. It's not the correct format. So we can't play it. But, I'm sure you've seen it posted on social media throughout the world of Deebo Samuel talking about how he would potentially be return man. JR3 says, is Danny Gray getting any return reps? Slightly, a little bit. The three guys I've seen get more return opportunities is Cowing, Trent Taylor, and Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell has not looked good as a return man. He's been muffing the ball. So I think Danny Gray's starting to get a few looks there. He did it before, and he got injured last year. I think really early in the season. So I don't know if they want Danny Gray to return, because he's done it and he didn't really have him good results with it. But with the injuries now, and Jacob Cowing not there, I'm sure they're going to give Danny Gray a couple more opportunities to see what he's got. It is definitely one of those things. It's like risk reward, and Debbie says the same thing. It's a risk versus reward question. Is the reward worth the risk? That's the question. Like, we know Deebo could probably pop off a few big runs or maybe a touchdown here and there, but is it worth that risk? Because he could get hurt doing it. And skill players, just like Robbie says, save CMC and Deebo returning kickoffs until the playoffs. Like, do you want them to return kicks during the regular season and risk a big injury? It's tough to say, but they might be able to rattle out a huge play or a huge touchdown or something that could maybe save the game or be the difference in the game. So it's hard to think. And with these new rules, and it's hard to see until you really see it in action. I mean, we've seen it in, I think the XFL does this. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it is an interesting new rule how they do the kickoffs over there. So it's going to force teams to really have to utilize the return game. It's going to have to you get really intricate with your roster, making sure certain players that may not have been on this team before onto the roster because they have that value at that special team, at that return position. You're like literally there just to be that return man, which in the past, your return man could be like your fourth wide receiver, could be a cornerback or something. But now you might have to have a guy that's really protected on this team so he can return those kicks. So it's gonna be interesting. Like a guy like Trent Taylor might actually make the roster just because he's probably a better return man than Jacob Cowing and Ronnie Bell. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's see. I think I do have the video. This is what Deebo said.
See a better opportunity for returners like you.
It's kind of, well, like looking at it, it's kind of weird, but I feel like on the side that we on for us, the returning team, I feel like we have a real big advantage of, like, you make one guy miss. I mean, it's just you and the kicker, and 9 times out of 10, the kicker's not making tackles. So I'm pretty sure, like, people would try to turn, like, skill guys into kickers at some point if it continue to go, just so they have a last line of defensive tackling. Oh, for sure.
How much did the rules change to like make you want to do it more?
I mean, just looking at it, it's just like, I feel like at some point, like if it done got to this point, I feel like in a couple of years or so, it probably won't be a kick return or anything along those lines. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of touchdowns coming from not just us, but from other teams as well. Because I'm pretty sure other people got a lot of skilled guys that's really good in space as well.
I can see Deebo being a dog at like return man with the way the rules are. You could tell, like in his eyes, he's like, if I did this, I'd probably have like 10 touchdowns because he is so good in open space. And he's right. If you make that first guy miss, that guy that's trying to get in that tackle, if you can get past the first wave and you make those guys miss those first few tackles, he gone. Like, you think a kicker is bringing down? You think a kicker is bringing down? Unless you're Mitch Wishnowski, who's former Australian rules football player. That guy could tackle. He's got some highlights, right? Most kickers aren't taking down a player that's returning the ball. Deebo could dominate doing it. Yeah, JD says Deebo would excel at it. I think he would. I think he'd be a all-pro return man, Hall of Famer, just in return. Like, I can see it. Maybe Deebo says, "Screw it. This is how I reinvent myself." I don't know. That's just it. Deebo's so versatile. He can do it all. Running back, wide receiver, kick returner. He's the utility man. So, wish we had Justin Reed. He can definitely kick and tackle. He can. What's good, David McNiner? What's good, man? So, yeah, those are the big stories since yesterday. Pads come on Monday. I'm excited. I think someone in the comments said I'm excited to hear the pads popping. I'm excited as well on Monday. I can't wait to hear those pads popping. Can't wait to see the pads coming on because that means the training camp practices are going to be a little bit more intense. They're going to turn up the intensity. And these last few days, from what I heard today and I was there yesterday, practice was a little short. They don't want them to burn out. I think in years past they were going well on to sometimes past 12 o'clock. Usually, practice is usually done by noon. I remember last year one of those practices it was 12:15. They were still going. I was like, y'all, get your asses out there, keep going. So I think they're trying to maybe not be as aggressive early on, because you got to remember it is a very long season. And you got to be able to last that season, because yeah, you might be able to do great at training camp, but if your star players aren't there in week 16, 17, playoffs, etc., it's all for nothing. So that's my take on it. So it's okay if they don't go 130% on training camp day 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Keep yourself it's you got to pace yourself through the season. So I think that's where the 49ers mindset is right now. Any other questions? Drop them in the comments. You guys seen Deadpool Wolverine? If you haven't, definitely recommend it for this weekend. It was a fantastic movie, absolutely amazing. Saw it yesterday. So if you guys need something to do this weekend, go check out the movie Wolverine versus Deadpool. Olympics started yesterday. Excited. Team USA is crushing, of course. Team USA is crushing it, baby. Gotta love it. Go USA. Gotta go USA. Man, David McNiner says Wishnowski can tackle and run. Remember that play that was called back? He's done it a lot. He's had some like monster hits. Remember, I think it was his rookie season, the Denver. Remember Denver? I think it was a preseason game. He kicks it. The return man's coming, and Wishnowski just like decapitates. He just drops the hammer. Like anytime people post uh, a Wishnowski highlight, it's most likely that Denver hit he had. I mean, he rocked that guy into the next year. And then there was the one with Carolina Panthers, I think you're talking about, where he just shivered him on the sideline, throws him off. I think that one got called back or a flag or something. But I remember it was against Carolina Panthers, and he just ripped the guy on the sideline. I was like, oh, God, it's a kicker doing that to someone. Love it, man. Wishnowski's a dog. So yeah, I love Wishnowski, man. That guy's nothing but pure energy. He's changed his number. Punter changed his number 3 now. Crazy. He's crazy. He was waiting for that number 3 to open up. So good guy. It's crazy, man. He was a 4th-round pick. 49ers taking kickers early, but I think Wishnowski's been worth the pick. He's been a hell of a punter for us. So definitely a good pickup. So that is that's that. The kick return rule definitely going to be interesting this season. Definitely going to add some spice to the mix. I'm excited to see it actually in place this season. So next week, Thursday, I think we have our first preseason game, a Hall of Fame game, I believe. And you know what? We get to see some of those. Maybe we'll see a lot of that in action next week. So we'll get to see how it really is. And then when the 49ers play, maybe they'll you know uh, they'll get to really see how they want to go about this new return position. Obviously, I don't think Deebo Samuel is going to be doing any returns in the preseason, but we'll see. Maybe Cowing will get his mix if he's healthy. Maybe Trent Taylor will get his, chances because he's been doing it a lot in training camp. So definitely see how it goes. So. Any case, that's pretty much all the news for today. Again, pretty short, simple. I like to come on here and not spend 3 hours on here, but get right to the point, get to the news. And I'm going to recap really quick what went over down in the 49ers world today. Real quick, we got Frank Darby. They signed him to a 1-year contract, most likely a camp body. He was a former teammate of Brandon Ayuk. We got Keemon Hall got cut to make room for Frank Darby. We had uh, Spencer Burford breaking his hand. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. They're trying to figure out whether he's going to get surgery or not. They're still debating. We'll have updates on that as soon as that happens. Taleno Hunga expected to be off of the PUP list in the next week or two. Absolutely great news. Jacob Cowing dealing with a hamstring injury, and Ricky Pearsall has a chance to return Monday, according to Kyle Shanahan. Brandon Ayuk has been in team meetings. He's participating in everything except practice as he continues to hold in and try to get a new contract extension. And the 49ers have worked out quarterback Josh Love, not Jordan Love, Josh Love, just in case they need some insurance. So that's the news on the day. I hope you guys have a blessed day. and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Joint practices. You know what? Let me get the date. I know I posted about this a few weeks ago. What time? When does joint practices start? Let me get that answer, and I'll let you know. Give me 1 second. I'm scrolling through my page to find out the date. So I know I did post it. Here it goes. Joint practices with the New Orleans Saints will officially take place on August 15th through the 16th. And this was according to Cam Inman. The news was posted on July 15th. So joint practices with the Saints will take place on August 15th through the 16th. So we're pretty close to that. And that's that. A couple of weeks away for joint practices, and that is going to be against the New Orleans Saints before we play them for our home preseason game against the Saints. So Niners will do a little bit of joint practices in preparation to play the Saints in August. So, anyways, you guys have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you. Love you. Go Niners.